all the mayors and all elected officials, thank you for everything you're doing. But I'm going to get to the rest of the conversation in a minute, folks, but I want to begin talking about the wildfires here. I want to acknowledge and thank the emergency responders, and that includes over 150 fire crews. Those are huge numbers that are on the ground right now as we speak and throughout the night, fighting to protect northern communities from the ongoing forest fires. You know, it's not just the firefighters, they're on the front line, but it's the police officers, it's the OPP, it's the Canadian Armed Forces that are up there that actually helped rescue a bunch of campers from YMCA that were on the lake and with conjunction with the OPP. But there is good news. There's no fatalities. Because of the amazing work that our first responders, be it the paramedics and firefighters and OPP and our military, there's been no fatalities, which is pretty remarkable considering the size of these fires. And I always say our government will not spare an expense, not one single penny. We will spend whatever it takes to support getting them the support and the resources they need to keep people safe. And just to give you an idea, you know, I don't got to get political, but you know, they're out there, social media, so on and so forth, underfunding. We'd never underfund our firefighters, ever, never, ever. We've more than doubled the annual base funding, folks, for emergency firefighting. When I came into office, it was 70 million. It's up over 150 million. But if you include the base funding and include firefighters, the aircraft and equipment are in place before fire season begins. So we can respond immediately when fires break out. We know every year, no matter if it's flooding or fire, we're prepared. Fire seasons vary significantly, as you know, from year to year, no matter if it's in Ontario or across the country or in our south of the border. So while our base budget might be $150 million, every year we spend significantly more. If you add up everything, it's well in excess, just on a overall budget, over $1.5 billion. But for instance, last year was $271 million on wildland fire response alone. And since 2018, we spent over $1.5 billion on wildland firefighting. But our government will continue to spare no expense to protect the people and the communities. Ahead of the fire season, we added over 68 new permanent positions, building on the 100 permanent positions we added last year. We also increased, and this is so important, folks, we increased compensation for critical frontline staff, including wildland firefighters, pilots, and aircraft maintenance engineers to recruit and retain the skilled professionals who keep Ontario safe. This is another critical part that isn't part of base funding, but it's actually 1,000% more increase in funding. We've invested over $650 million to purchase 5 new helicopters and 6 new water bombers. Those are absolutely critical, and we'll continue. I'm going to talk to the rest of the premiers. We're heading out to the Confederation meeting in PEI next week. But we need support from the federal government to buy fire bombers. By the way, the military's phenomenal, but they just do rescue. They don't have the big water bombers, and so we need the water bombers that can be deployed anywhere in our country. And we'll continue to support all the communities that have been forced to evacuate because of these terrible fires. We have also requested that the federal government, including the Canadian Armed Forces, which are incredible people, be prepared to rapidly deploy federal resources that they deployed an incredible rescue yesterday to support evacuations when and where necessary. And I want to thank them for their support that they've pivoted to this point. Usually you have to give them 48 hours, but it's one phone call and bang, they're on their way. I love our military. That includes their support over the last few days, supporting a search and rescue of hikers trapped near wildfires in northern Ontario. And thank God those kids were rescued. It was pretty wild scenario there. But finally, I want to acknowledge the incredible support we're receiving from across our entire country. This is what makes Canada beautiful. When everyone needs help, everyone comes in. We're getting crews from the Yukon and Alberta that are here in Ontario on the ground right now. And on behalf of everyone in our province, I just want to thank the other provinces for their support. So folks, I'll tell you, it's great to be back here. On more positive news, we're going to get through these wildfires, but on more positive news, it's great to be back in Windsor, Essex, alongside our local champions, as I gave them a shout out, PAs Liardi and Dowie, and our great mayor and warden, thank you. I'll tell you, you call me an 800-pound gorilla. Even the warden, you're about 1/10 my size, you're an 800-pound gorilla when it comes for fighting for the hospital, for fighting for infrastructure, and Drew, you are as well. And you know, this wouldn't be possible without your leadership, Kristen. I know you've been on the job just for a short period. You have big shoes to fill with David, but we have confidence. And Christina, thank you for mentioning all the donors. And yes, we have the family, Fancy family here, and the Salt family, and you mentioned some others. But do you know what makes a difference? Is a person that donates the $100, the $1,000, the $2,000, that makes the difference. And the entire team at Windsor Regional Hospital, thank you. Couldn't happen without the foundation, Christina, so you're amazing. I want to thank for the dedication to the service of Windsor Essex community, making sure the region's growing population gets the world-class health care they deserve. And this wouldn't be possible without the great docs. I love our doctors, our nurses, our PSWs, and this might be unusual that I say this, but no hospital, Kristen knows this, no hospital runs without a phenomenal maintenance department. The engineers and people, the electricians and people that keep the water moving, they always get left out, and the people that clean the rooms and so on and so forth, the hospital is shut down without them, so I'm very, very grateful for everything they do. And it's wonderful to be here to mark such an important milestone on this critical project. I remember back in 2018, you got that big smile on your face, Mayor. You had hair back then when I saw you on the video, and I was probably 70 pounds lighter back then. But I remember it distinctly saying, no matter what, we're getting a hospital. We didn't cross the finish line on the previous folks that were in office. I said, no matter life or death, we're getting that hospital in the ground. And my friends at Ellis Don, thank you. I have a few words. On time, on budget. On time, on budget. That's what we like to know. And thank you, because they're building hospitals all around our province, by the way, and they're an incredible company. As you know, our government has been delivering on our plan to protect Ontario. Through our plan, we're working to create jobs, protect workers from the tariffs and economic uncertainty, and protect the services like healthcare that people across Ontario are counting for. I always say, I say this all the time, the foundation of our healthcare system, our education system, our infrastructure, social services is one thing. It's our economy. Our economy is critical to absolutely everything, no matter if it's the highways we're building or the hospitals and so on and so forth. We're going to keep the economy going strong. And that's why last week in Calgary, Alberta, Premier Danielle Smith and I unveiled the proposed route of Northern Shield Energy Corridor. And I'm going to get to the reason why we're announcing this, running from Hardisty, Alberta to just north here in Sarnia, Ontario. You know, this new pipeline built with Canadian steel would bring Alberta oil to Ontario refineries along an all-Canadian route, supporting good-paying jobs, including right here in Windsor, Essex, protecting Canadian sovereignty and security, and building a more united Canadian economy. When I was briefed yesterday about the jobs, it's going to be 10,000 jobs for the region. Just think of that. 10,000 jobs for the region. We don't, and I love our American friends, by the way. I just don't like one guy down there. But anyways, I love our American friends. I spent 20 years of my life in there. But I know the warden and the mayor were always held hostage for Line 5, right? Line 5, it came from Alberta, but it had to go through the U.S., and Michigan had a problem with it. I'm thinking we're being held hostage. Never again will we be held hostage for anyone, no matter if it's the Middle East, wars going on there, or if it's coming in through the U.S. We'll have our own sovereignty, right? Oil independence. It's going to be amazing when we get that done. So it's never been done. We're getting that pipeline done. You know, we want to protect the workers and businesses. Our government is also cutting red tape until we can fund hospitals and keeping taxes and fees low. And I always believe in, you know, never raising a tax, would never raise the tax. And I'm getting to the hospital in a minute, but they've written all this other stuff. By cutting we're cutting $12 billion, and we'll never raise a tax, and 1.8 million working hours of red tape. But that money now has allowed us to spend over $64 billion in healthcare because of the measures that we've done. Just think of this. Anywhere in Ontario, anywhere, you're either getting an addition to a hospital or you're getting a brand new hospital at 50 different sites. And we have 18 massive projects underway, and the other 32 are coming along. But what an incredible achievement here in Windsor. And I always say it's about cooperation, collaboration, and most important is communication. And we're doubling down on the infrastructure of about $236 billion planned to build. And I always get scared when I see the warden and the mayor, because I stick my hand in my pocket and I got his big mitts in there, and the warden for more money. And I just believe in infrastructure. We have the largest infrastructure plan in Canadian history, and getting shovels in the ground to build hospitals and schools and highways and transit to connect communities and create jobs in our great economy. We're also delivering for residents right here in Windsor, Essex. Building the future of Ontario's advanced manufacturing sector through the Nexstar Energy Battery Facility, Canada's first commercial scale battery manufacturing plant, which will create up to 2,500 good-paying jobs while strengthening Ontario's manufacturing and auto supply chains, recognizing the critical role of border economies like Windsor. We're protecting workers and families impacted by U.S. tariffs, investing more than $2 billion in training programs and across the province, but a lot of training programs right here in Windsor, Essex, to help workers stay on the job. I always say a better job and a bigger paycheck, as well as train and retrain, upgrade their skills for jobs of tomorrow. And through Ontario Together Trade Fund, we're helping manufacturers right here in Windsor make nearly $44 million of new investments that are protecting and creating good-paying jobs across the region in metal stamping, welding, and industrial chemicals and other critical industries. We have shovels in the ground to widen Highway 3 in Essex and Leamington, expanding it from 2 to 4 lanes, and we're investing $50 million to build new interchange at Banwell Road. You know, folks, I apologize because they're going a little too campaigny on this speech for me. This is all about the hospital. So to ensure everyone in Ontario is connected to reliable health care close to home, our government is investing a historic $64 billion, as I mentioned earlier, to build and upgrade 50 hospitals across the province, which brings us why we're here today. Supported by our government's investment of more than $202 million for now, it's going to be in the multi-billion dollars area. I'm thrilled to celebrate the groundbreaking on the new Fancy Family Hospital. With more than 100 additional beds, the new Fancy Family Hospital will help lower wait times in the region, providing families across Windsor, Essex with access to new 24/7 emergency department. And Kristen, I can't begin to tell you how many calls I get about this emergency department. Everyone has my cell number, and I'm getting calls nonstop. But you're doing a great job. We're going to keep moving forward. Maternal and newborn care, neurological, cardiology, surgical, and other specialized services, all closer to home. And I just want to thank again the Fancy Hospital, Salt family, everyone else. I hate leaving people out because everyone plays a critical role. But Terry, your brother John, his legacy will go down in history. His legacy will be around for decades and decades and decades. As the mayor said, long after we're gone. I don't know about you, Mayor, but I plan on sticking around for a little bit because we got to come down here and walk through those front doors. And the entire Fancy family for the extraordinary generosity. And I remember that day when we were down here making that announcement, Terry, and it was incredible. And making this incredible vision a reality. And I just look forward to returning to celebrate the new Fancy Family Hospital's opening. The hospital is an incredible achievement of the community. It takes everyone involved here, and a symbol of the growth and opportunity we're building here in Windsor for many generations to come. Again, I just want to thank everyone in this room, and I want to thank everyone who's not in this room that's contributing, especially another shout out for the frontline healthcare workers that are now in the hospital working as we're here. I'm very grateful. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much, everyone.
Premier, if I could just get you back on stage when you're ready. Back on stage. Yeah. Okay. We'll now take questions from the media. Media present can line up behind me and ask their questions through the microphone. As a friendly reminder, the format is one question and one follow-up.
The last time we had a figure for the hospital was around $2 billion. I think that was in 2014. Do we have an updated figure of what this hospital project will cost?
We will come up with those final numbers. It's massive. It's massive, multiple billions of dollars. And we'll get you that number. Thank you. But it started way down here, and it's just right through the roof right now. But honestly, I'm always conscious. I'm a prudent fiscal manager, but we'll spend what it takes, and we'll be prudent about it, no matter what it takes. We're building this hospital, and we aren't going to spare a penny. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Hello, Premier Taylor Campbell with the Windsor Star. Not a question about the hospital or the wildfires, but about bridges. Earlier this week, Mayor Dilkins said he wonders if the Ambassador Bridge might be sold to a regional bridge or border crossing authority because it might be more successful managed in conjunction with the new Gordie Howe Bridge. What do you make of that suggestion?
Well, that's going to be up to the family that owns the Ambassador Bridge. What I'm focused on is the Gordie Howe Bridge. I can't wait to come back. And are we biking it, walking it, or driving it, Mayor? Okay, well, we're going across that bridge, and thank God it's open because it does 25% of all trade with the U.S. across our entire country. That's how much volume goes through. And the Ambassador Bridge handles about $1 billion of two-way trade daily. And just to give you an idea, just Ontario alone, we do $500 billion of two-way trade with the U.S. These are staggering numbers. So I always say in life, with the hospital, with jobs here in Windsor, people want certainty. They want stability. And when you don't have certainty with these tariffs, investment stalls. But when you do have certainty, you have the investments, you have jobs, you have production, you have lower cost of goods. So we're hoping we get through these tariffs.
Hello, Premier Ford. Thanks for being here and taking our
Thank you.
questions. My name is Emma Loop. I'm a reporter with CBC Windsor. Another bridge question for you. What is your understanding of the opening deal that was struck between Canada and the U.S. to actually open the bridge on July 27th? We've heard, different things from the Prime Minister and from officials about maybe how that net profit sharing is going to work. What's your understanding of the details?
Well, that's a question for the Prime Minister to answer. I'm sure it was between the President and the Prime Minister that struck the deal, but if I knew, I'd mention it, but I just don't. All I am happy is that we're going across that bridge, and that's going to be an exciting time. It's going to be a historic time for the whole region and entire province, until you don't have one company having a monopoly on a bridge. That was not good for many, many years. So now we have competition. Nothing is better than the lower cost than competition.
Okay, and a question from my colleagues at CBC Sudbury. People evacuated due to wildfires in Northern Ontario are calling for better assistance, not only during evacuations, but also afterward. For example, more suitable housing, clothing, and for help in rebuilding the community once the danger has been brought under control. How is the provincial government planning to help in that sense?
Well, through emergency services, we have a fund there to support any natural disasters, no matter if it's flooding or if it's wildfires. We'll be there. The emergency service team and firefighters, OPP, our military, local first responders, again, paramedics, they've done an incredible job. An incredible job, considering what we see, the infernos. And the last number, folks, I got, I think it was 187 wildfires. Hectares and hectares are and they're catching. They're going right even from the state of Minnesota, hopping over to Ontario, and the winds are picking up. I get briefed 4 or 5 times a day on this. We're all over it. I have 4 ministers in the north right now overseeing it. But we're throwing every single resource we possibly can. And we aren't going to spare a penny. And I just want to thank all the cities. I'm going to probably leave a few out, but Sudbury, Timmins, Thunder Bay are taking probably over 1,000 people, Niagara Falls. So it's spread right out, and I probably left a half a dozen out, but that's what Ontario does. We all come together in emergencies, and we make sure that they have shelter, they have food, they have water, they have health care. That's what we do here in Ontario. And they do an incredible job. I got to give a shout out to Mike Harris, the Minister of Natural Resources, Jill Dunlop, Emergency Service, the Ontario Corps. So they're doing an incredible job. But it's a multi-ministerial situation right now, no matter if it's Hydro One or if it's the infrastructure or the roads, emergency services, obviously healthcare as well. But everyone's pitching in. It's really remarkable, the job everyone's doing.
Rob Hindy from AM 800. Krista mentioned the phase-in approach here for this project. Do we have timelines when phase 1 could be completed and when you'd like to see the entire process or the hospital be completed?
That's a good question for the boss to answer. Kristen, do you want to answer that? Or do you have the answer, or do you want to? You want to answer it later, you said, or now? I just say faster, quicker, immediate on everything. That's my new slogan. We're in an economic war with the guy south of the border. We got to move, no matter if it's infrastructure or hospitals or our nuclear capabilities or critical minerals. Folks, we have everything. We have everything. You got to get government moving. Government drives me crazy, by the way. They do. You got to get move. Yes.
This will be the last reporter.
Stephanie Mazzotti from CTV News. Windsor Premier, thank you for being here. Obviously a historic day for us in Windsor, Essex. However, I do have questions for my colleagues. at CTV News in Toronto, so bear with me.
Oh, it's gonna be
So it
exciting.
appears many public transit fleets are downgrading their insurance with the new regulations, so the people they hit won't be eligible for income replacement benefits or death benefits if they aren't covered elsewhere. Same with the province's motor vehicle accident claims funds, which pays out claims in hit and runs when the driver can't be identified. Was it your intention to disadvantage people who are hit by buses or hit in hit and runs?
Honestly, the first time I've heard of this one, but that's a mouthful, that one. But I can get our team to call you back on that. So,
It was a question sent to me word for word, so
yeah, thank you.
we will reach out. I guess Toronto will reach
Yeah,
out
we
to you.
will reach out to the great crew, media crew in Toronto.
Okay, sounds great. Also, then maybe I can get two additional questions. Okay, so my second question is, what were some of the reasons shared with you about why MPPs who live close to Queen's Park felt they were eligible for a hotel stay, and is that acceptable to you?
Well, as my colleagues know, unacceptable. I'll leave it at that. Totally unacceptable. And I've told them, you're paying back every single penny. That's not the way we operate. Simple as that. And not to get into details, as my two colleagues will tell you, when I talked to caucus, he literally had to pull me off the roof. We don't, anyways, unacceptable.
Okay, the third question. A memo shows your office is looking to reduce spending by instituting a hiring freeze, eliminating positions.
That's
Why
right.
now?
Well, because we have to lead. You know, we're driving efficiencies throughout the province, and I directed my chief of staff, I want to see $1 million savings, and that's a big chunk out of an office. And so that's
Okay,
it.
thank you,
We
Premier.
just cut $1 million, and that's critical. You got to lead by example.
And that concludes our
Okay.
media questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.